Hey, this is the first live episode of the Ultimate 216 show with me and you together. The fans finally get to see you live. We ain't doing no pre-records or anything like that. Good morning, Cleveland. Good morning to everybody, man. No matter where you are, man. If you woke up this morning, you already won. Before we get started, it's a good time to let you know that the Ultimate 216 show is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to know to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. How you feel, bro? I think you're a little frozen.
I'm good, man. I'm interested to hear your thought. Can you hear me?
Your connection just went crazy.
Okay, let me see.
Let's get you together. There you go.
We back in action?
Yeah.
We back in action?
Yeah. So you ain't like the trade.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you ain't like the trade.
Good, I did not like the trade. Simply because you're giving up a Golden Glove guy. Like, it's hard for me to give up a Golden Glove guy for and this is my thought process. You're making room for the guy you drafted, Travis B, last year, #1 overall, right? You love what you're seeing in AA or single A, whatever he was at, high level A, and you got to make room for him. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's only his second year, maybe going to his third year of Gimenez's deal, correct?
Yeah. I think this is the third year of the deal.
So why third year of the deal? Why are you giving up so quickly? Breakout year in 2022. Golden Glove winner, all-star appearance, batting high 280, 290. The last 2 years, I get it. You were batting in the 250s. He wasn't really being consistent at the plate like you want him to when you gave him that money to be consistent, right? But he's only 26 years old. Let's find a way to make him a little more consistent in the batter's box, but don't just trade him and get away from him. Plus, I'm looking at your shortstop right now. If you really love Travis B as your potential second baseman, you can move him in there as the shortstop. And he's more consistent in the field and more consistent at the plate right now than your shortstop Roqueo right now. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Rochelle, how you say it? Is it Rocheo?
Brian Roqueo.
Roqueo. Roqueo's batting at about 206 right now, and he's been making some plays at shortstop where you're like, yeah, this dude can be it. 23 years old, like he can make some plays. Then there's like routine plays he's missing. Right now in the playoffs, he stood up. He played well in the playoffs. Can't knock that. So maybe the Indians see that in the playoffs and like, okay, we can believe in him at shortstop and then go with the young guy at second base eventually, right? But for me, I'm just like, oh, I understand the inconsistent bat. It's just, for me, it's hard to give up a 26-year-old Golden Glove winner only in his third year of his deal.
For me, man, to me, the platinum glove that Andres Gimenez has, it just wasn't enough for me, bro. Like, when I look at him, I think he is all world defensively, but he's subpar offensively. And when you don't drive in runs and when you don't help produce runs, then to me, you become a liability. Check this out real quick. This is his stats this season versus his career. He batted 252 this year with 9 home runs, 63 RBIs, and he had an OPS of 638. My man had 538 plate appearances. So to me, that's equivalent to a whole season. It's not like he was hurt. It's not like, he had anything injury-wise that caused him to be this cold at the plate. And then if you go back and you just look overall in his career, I mean, 261, 49, 222, OPS of 715. To me, the Guardians was not getting return on investment when it came to that contract. In my opinion, the contract was a bad contract, and they got an opportunity to get out of it. Now, to most of the fan base, it might look like here's the Guardians once again shedding the salary cap, trying to save money. But to me, this looks like a smart baseball move, because you do have Travis Bazana coming up that can play second base, will be second base at second base. And to me, it looks like he has the opportunity right now to compete to be that opening day second baseman. I like Rocchio as shortstop. He's not what Gimenez is defensively, but to me, he brings a little bit more to the plate offensively. And I get it. The full season wasn't that great, but if you look in the small realm of what he did in the playoffs, he batted 333, 11 to 33 at the plate with 1 home run and 2 RBIs. This was a young man to me that he seemed like he came on stronger as we got towards the end of the regular season and as we got towards the playoffs. And then one of the things that the Guardians did was I think they took the infielder that they got, Spencer
Yes.
Horwitz, and they
Horwitz,
flipped
yes.
him. They
I
flipped
do
him
like
for a
that part.
pitcher. Yeah, and so
I
look,
do
you
like
get this
that part.
dude. You get this dude right here, Luis Ortiz, who shout out to Adam the Bull, and you will hear more about this on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show coming up at 11 a.m. But Bull talked about, you get Ortiz in here who can be like a middle of the rotation type of cat that you can throw in there. And I think that part of it is very important because we just spent the 14 million on Shane Bieber, and we won't have Shane Bieber until after the All-Star break. And so you still needed to invest in pitching because of the uncertainties to Tristan McKenzie, of Gavin Williams. I think we know what we got in Tanner Bybee, Logan Allen, Cantillo. So like just all these different dudes that's going to be in the mix. But the only sure thing that we had was Bybee. And even that, it was Tanner Bybee. And even after the move to re-sign Shane Bieber, we still knew we needed some, help with the starting pitching. So for me, I like it. And before we move on, like I'll just tell you this. I did a show last Saturday on 92.3 The Fan, and we were just talking about potential lineups, right? I don't think the Guardians are done dealing. I think it's a strong possibility that they move on from Josh Naylor. And if you look at all these young prospects that they got, dude, like to me, my vision was you got Jose at third base, you got Rocchio at shortstop, you got Bazana at second, you got Manzardo as your everyday first baseman, you got Hedges and Bo Naylor splitting time behind the plate, Quan in left field. You keep Lane Thomas, keep him in center field. Chase the young cat that's in AAA right now, make him your right fielder, and Noel is your everyday DH. That's how I would do it. Now, I'm not saying like that's the perfect lineup, but I'm just having this vision of based on what I know from the players I've seen last year and everything that I've heard from people who are bigger baseball experts like Adam the Bull about these young prospects that's coming up. So to me, it'd be interesting. The Guardians is out here making moves. Let's read some of the comments before we move in and see what they got to say about it. What's up? What you got to say?
Well, you're all in on Rocchio more than me. I want him to do well, and after the playoff run, it speaks for itself. I think he did awesome in the playoffs. It's just in the bigger resume, the 160 plus games or whatever it was, the times he was at shortstop, I just wasn't sold on him being consistent. So I'm hoping he does. I'm just a little like, oh. But as far as the Horwitz trade, when you get that first baseman, second baseman, and you flip him for what you need, you get an outfielder. I think you got a minor league outfielder, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, he's center fielder.
right? And then you got three pitchers, one of them being Ortiz. One being Ortiz, and then two other prospects. And the pitching staff you have does a good job developing pitchers. So I'm excited that you are addressing your starting. You are addressing what you needed big in this winter was some type of pitchers, and possibly Ortiz can be in that, like you said, middle of the range rotation guy. So we'll see how it goes.
Jake Aubrey says, I think the reason they traded him is because of the underlying data is saying he was declining. Yeah, he's a great defender, but is a net negative. The pitcher they got back is a third starter. John says, top 10 WAR in the league since 2022. Tough way to go. B. Skrill says, plus they got back a starting pitcher in Luis Ortiz and two left-handed pitchers out of the minors. So it seems like, we got some misreactions. Shout out to Ray says, I love to see 206 Collinwood alumni, man. If you ain't a railroader, I don't really know what you have done. You know what I'm saying? Somebody somewhere went wrong. As we move on, man, don't forget, again, catch all the Ultimate spinoff shows on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube channel. The Ultimate 216 Show, the Ultimate Cast, the Ultimate Guardians, the Ultimate Buckeyes, the Ultimate Browns. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell to stay in the notification. Coming up next, we talk about the homecoming game as the Kansas City Chiefs come to Cleveland. A couple Cleveland natives come back and will play at the newly named Huntington Bank Field. So you are a former professional athlete from the city of Cleveland. I don't know if you really had aspirations of playing for the Browns. I don't think I've ever asked you anything like that. But the funny thing is, you from the East Side, Kareem from the East Side, Travis from the East Side, and most of us, as we travel as young adults, we would take that trip down I-90 and we would ride past the stadium. Like when you was in high school and you knew you was good enough to go play college, probably pro, did you ever had that thought like, man, I want to play in this stadium, whether it was against or for the Browns? I don't know if you can
Say
hear
that one
me.
more time, Earl. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I said, just like in your high school playing days, right? And when you was going to college and you was getting ready and you knew that going pro was a real possibility. How many times did you jump on 90 and ride past that stadium and say, like, either whether it's for the Browns or not, I want to play here?
um, Honestly, playing for the Browns would have been, in my opinion, would have been a dream come true. But I also think it would have came with a lot of pressure, right? It would have been a lot of pressure to be in your home city with your home. I mean, I grew up in Cleveland. So to see everybody and everybody have access to me at that type of level, I don't know how well I would have handled that, right? I don't know how well I would have dealt with that stress, dealt with the pressure of, I'm the type of guy that wants to always give back and wants to always be present and try to be at this game and that game and be here for them and there. I don't know if I would have dealt with that well, right? On top of being a professional and learning how to be professional and trying to make plays on the field, right? Later in my career, I think I would have handled it fine. But early, right on out of college, I don't know if I would have handled that in the best way. Always wanted to play for the Browns. I mean, you grow up watching, everybody growing up, so that's just what you know. The brown and orange. That's just what you know. But when you play for a different team and come back, that's a different story. Like you got something on you. Like, hey, I'm about to be back in town. I'm about to put on for the city. I'm about to show out. Like everybody gonna see what I can do, what I've been doing. It's just a good feeling. You smell the air. Saturday night you may go get some food you're familiar with, hang with family. So it's definitely something when you come back to town. When you're not drafted by the Browns, you come back to town and be able to be in the home
So
city.
you remember what that week was like for you? Like I can only imagine as a player, you finished the previous week game. Cleveland is next up on the schedule. So like, are you trying? Like, what's the routine? You still got practice, still got walkthroughs. Do you get
Mhm.
to Cleveland a day earlier? Is it normal routine, normal schedule? Because you trying to see a few friends you got. You're trying to see your family. You
Mhm.
want to go get some of your
Mhm.
favorite foods. Your time is limited. So like just take me through like what your mental process was like just that week before you even stepped on the football field.
That's actually a good question. So it's a pretty standard week. Practice on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday is a quick practice, and then we head up to Cleveland. I think I was in Jacksonville at the time, so we head up to Cleveland on Saturday. So we get there about early Saturday evening, early in the evening, or kind of late afternoon. And that time, if I remember correctly, I believe we went out with some friends and had this because I mean, in NFL you got a short window to be able to do stuff.
Right.
Like they are real particular, the teams I was on, about how you move around in the cities you're in, right? So we probably had a 2-3 hour window, got some food with some family, came back to the hotel, we got meeting, and then after the meetings around 8:30, 9 o'clock, a few family friends came to the hotel, we chopped it up a little bit, then I went to bed because I needed to put on the next day. Like I needed to. Ain't no point of coming home and I ain't gonna ball. Ain't no point of getting there and I ain't gonna do nothing, right?
Right.
So that game, and it's always a game you circle on the calendar. It's always a game like I can't wait to play Cleveland. Number one, you ain't draft me. Number two, that's my hometown city, all my family and friends there, right? So I got to put on. I went to college in Ohio, so what Alliance is like an hour 30, hour 15
Yeah.
from Cleveland. So it was. I already knew it was going to be tons of people there in support, but it was about me actually playing well. So
Yo, I remember that week and I remember that tailgate, and you seen a lot of purple Raiders gear. like a lot of Purple Raiders gear. Like it was more that than Cecil Short's Jacksonville Jaguars gear. Like those people who cheer for Mount Union,
Mhm.
man, they crazy. They like Browns fans. Like they sick in the head for real. And so like that was
Mhm.
cool. I remember from where I was sitting as a fan at that time, Joe Hayden was my favorite player on the Browns. Like we didn't really have many players you can
He was a
identify
baller.
that was a straight up
He was a
dog,
baller.
straight up beast. But like Joe was him. Joe was Mr. Shutdown, Mr. Lockdown, right? And when you scored that touchdown, like just the feedback I was getting, because you know me, you already know, like my fandom for this team has always been crazy. Like
Crazy.
people was like, was you conflicted? And I gotta be honest with you, I wasn't. Like I wasn't. Like Joe Hayden gonna be here. The Browns is the Browns, man. But like to see one of my homeboys, a real friend of mine, come back, and like the crowd was going crazy. Like anytime that your name was said over the loudspeakers and things like that. Like I thought it was a perfect story. This your city, not his. You know what I'm saying? So like to score the game winning touchdown on the Browns' best player in your hometown, like that
Yeah.
hometown villain headline the next day was crazy. It was crazy.
Crazy. Crazy. Like I'll never forget because that game, I was so hyped up. I was so wound up. I had a few drops that game. It was like a 20-yard in cut. I beat Joe Hayden on, and instead of just catching it and running, I was looking before I even caught the ball, and I dropped that thing. Right. There was another pass, something. So I was sitting there frustrated, like, man, you got to bounce back. You got to bounce back. What you doing? So when that happened, it was amazing. Josh Gordon went crazy that year
You got the
in that
last laugh.
game. I think he had like,
Yeah, he like
bruh,
230
Josh
something
went
in
for
that
like
game.
230 that game. He was going nuts. He was going crazy. Um, but as a high school athlete, as a high school sports fanatic, right? As a person that follows sports, the plain dealer, especially when we grew up, was a big deal. So at
Mhm.
any point in time, if your name got to be in the plain dealer, or I remember Friday, was it Fridays? They just had the special high school edition in the plain dealer we used to go through and read in class.
Yeah.
Like so for me, it was a flashback. I got to be on the front page of the sports section of the Plain Dealer called Hometown Villain. I'm like, oh, that's the dopest thing ever. That
I
was
still
that
got
was
that.
incredible. I'll
I still
never
got that.
ever forget that.
I know you still got it. I
Man,
still
my
got
dad
it.
do too. He got it hanging.
Speaking of a couple hometown villains,
Fire,
man.
man.
Speaking of a couple other hometown villains, check out this guy, right? Travis Kelce in 3 career games versus the Cleveland Browns, 19 receptions, 218 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns. That should be 11.5 average. Bad job out of me. I got to fix that, man. And then the other one is Kareem Hunt. He's coming back. He's only played one game against the Cleveland Browns, 91 rushing yards, 50 receiving yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and a yards per carry average of 5.4. This is just 2 dudes who have been major contributors to the Chiefs offense. You look at the Chiefs offense right now, 11th in points per game, 6th in passing yards, rush yards per game, 21st, turnovers, they tied for 15th. Kareem in particular, right, didn't get re-signed by the Cleveland Browns. He gets picked up after Pacheco goes down with the injury. And, up until a couple weeks ago, he was a solid contributor to what the Chiefs was doing. I think he got less than 50 yards combined
Yeah.
rushing in his last 2 games since Pacheco been back. But he's been strong. And, I told Mikey McNuggets this morning, I said, with this game being in Cleveland, you can better believe Andy Reid is going to have him a part of that game plan.
Oh man, it's in the OCs and the head coach's mind when we go to certain cities, right? They know their
Mhm.
team, they know their players. You from this is your hometown. Like you said, the player circles it, so they're hype all week. They're talking about it. So I guarantee you, there will be plays, such a plays for Travis. He'll be fed. He'll be targeted a lot. Kareem Hunt, he'll be fed and targeted a lot. Like they're gonna find ways to at least get them a target in the end zone, or try to get them in the end zone, or play really well. That just goes with the territory, right? And plus,
Mhm.
Kareem played for the Browns, right?
Right.
So he has
Right.
he has not only did he go to Willoughby South and play high school here in Toledo and in a state in Ohio his whole career, he played for the Browns a little bit. So now for the Browns not to sign him back and he left, and I think there might have been a little bit of talk here and there. He like I'm gonna show you what's up. Like I'm gonna show you. You thought Jerome Ford and you thought these guys could do better than me. You know what I mean? Let's see what's going on. So and Andy Reid's already creative in the first place. So it's going to
Yeah.
be a really good. It's going to be a tough task for the Browns defense. It's going to be a tough task, but it's going to be exciting to see Travis and Kareem kind of do their thing.
Yeah, you look at Travis, man. This is his season stats, man, and just another ball out year. He probably bringing his world famous girlfriend with him, and I was told this is her birthday weekend coming up, so there will be Taylor Swift sightings at Huntington Bank
Oh,
Field. It's crazy because like even as teenagers, man, when we would read up on the Browns has always struggled against tight ends, no matter who the tight end is. And Travis is one of the best in NFL history. You don't have Jock out there at linebacker, and Grant Delpit is having a down year. So the Browns defense is going to be in for a tough challenge trying to stop that dude, especially when you got a DeAndre Hopkins on the outside now. That's another weapon for Patrick Mahomes. So, any thoughts on you think the Browns got a chance to come away victorious in this game, or what's your thoughts on the overall game, knowing like you going against the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs?
I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to be tough for the Browns to win. I think so. I think the Chiefs' defense is for real. The Chiefs' defense will probably, and I hate to say it, probably force a few turnovers. But I truly believe it's just interesting to watch Travis Kelsey as he gets older. And he's
Yeah,
not the same speed. He's not the same guy he was a couple years ago, but he still makes plays. Like you show the season stats, those are good stats if the season ended today for a tight end. Like he's on his way for another 100 catch season. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. And that's a quote unquote, that's like a down year for him because we're
yeah.
used to him making tons of touchdowns. Maybe his yards average per catch would be a little higher, but he's going to have another 100 catch year this year. That's crazy. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on the Browns offense to get by that defense. You got to have a consistent run game, be able to play action and not turn the ball over. And then on the defensive side, how about Patty Mahomes? And it's weird, man, because the Chiefs, they everybody they're not the same. They're not that good. They're finding ways to win. Good teams find ways to win. It doesn't matter how it looks.
You
It may
said
be
this
a
last
doink
week.
off the field goal post. It may be a fluke play, fumble. They find ways to win, and it's not by accident. It's not. I don't care what nobody says. They're doing it too much now. It's not by accident.
Yo, man, you said that last week, man. Good teams find ways to win, bad teams find ways to lose. So lately on the Ultimate 216 show, man, what we've been doing is trying to find a fun closing segment to have with you all, man. And before we get to Would You Rather on this episode of the Ultimate 216 show, this is a good time to let you know that 11 o'clock Eastern, the man that's sitting right down there, Mikey McNuggets, is going to lead another phenomenal stack loaded Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We talking Gimenez trade. We talking trade rumors with the Cavs. Adam the Bull is going to break down this whole baseball thing. It's going to be a fun show. I think we got Leroy Horde and Sean King pulling up. So Cecil, when we done with this, man, I don't know what you got to do, but go ahead and tune in. It'll be interesting to see what Sean King got to say on Jameis Winston. So last week we played Keep Cut Trade. And everybody from Bossburg kind of like, retweeted the whole keep cut trade with Fat Owl and and Chip the Ripper and the Bossburg cats, right? So I got a couple, you got a couple. I'm gonna get started. Would you rather? Now, this is in regards to the Cleveland Browns. Of course, the Browns announced who's going to lead the project on the building the new Brownstown out in Brook Park. So, Cecil, bro, would you rather, and remind you, you got to pick a side and stay there. Would you rather build a dome in Brook Park with a guaranteed hosting package, meaning you guaranteed a Super Bowl, NCAA women and men's Final Four, or would you rather stay on the lakefront and guarantee that the Browns make it to a Super Bowl? There's no guarantees that the Browns win it, but just that.
Brook Park may be good for the city, may be good for money, but I want to see them in the Super Bowl. Like before I pass away, I want to see the Browns in the Super Bowl. So I'm picking option number two. I want to see. I rather they stay put and then they get to the Super Bowl, that will make my life. When I can see the Cleveland Browns in a Super Bowl with a chance to win it and bring it home, I would pick option number 2 for sure.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I think about our opponent this week, the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Like, Arrowhead Stadium has a new name, of course, because of sponsorship, but they've played in that same stadium longer than me and you've been alive. And I'm pretty sure the people in Kansas City is not about to trade those Super Bowls that they've won just to like play in a pretty ass, fancy ass dome. At the end of the day, this is about winning. And when you're a diehard sports city and you want to see championships, we can care less about the code. We can care less about any of that. Just go get it done. You got one, or you want me to go again?
I got one for you. It's a hypothetical, okay? Would
All right, let's
you
do it.
rather Myles Garrett win a Super Bowl or Joe Thomas win a Super Bowl? If you could choose one, if you could give a Super Bowl ring to somebody and they can earn it, would it be Joe Thomas or would you rather have Myles Garrett?
I'm gonna go Joe Thomas because Joe Thomas' career has come and ended. He's already in the Hall of Fame. Myles Garrett still got the opportunity to chase one, but Myles, with him being a pass rusher and you see him show up in the stat sheet, like for as great as Joe was, he was so codependent on all like 10 other positions on offense, for him to even get there. It's like Joe was good every single year, every single snap, and he never sniffed the playoffs because all 10 other players on offense wasn't doing their damn job. And so if I can gift a Super Bowl ring to one of the two, it would definitely be Joe. It would definitely be Joe. And Ray said Joe Thomas as well. What about you?
I'll go Joe, man. I just respect him so much, and for him to be great for so long, to never complain, to be the ultimate professional. I feel like he is the ultimate Cleveland Brown, right? It's the ultimate 216 show. I feel like he's the ultimate Cleveland Brown. I think of the Cleveland Browns from my era, from our era, right? Earl, I think of Joe Thomas. Who would I want to be? He's the blue chip guy. He fits our city. He's just beloved. So it would definitely be Joe Thomas.
All right, so a couple more minutes. We got to wrap. There's been some trade rumors swirling. Kyle Kuzma, Jimmy Butler, and things like that. The Cavs really don't have many assets that they can trade away without disrupting the flow of this team. So, would you rather break up the core four of Darius, Spider, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen if it meant adding a bigger wing player that's a two-way player, or would you just rather keep everything as is?
I'd rather keep everything as is. Easy, easy. That's an easy one because I feel like over the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, when you go out and you mess up your chemistry, when you break up your team and go out and get that two-way player, that big-time superstar, it takes, and it's gonna be in the middle of the season probably, right? It takes
Mhm.
so much time to develop that chemistry back and to learn that particular player's strengths and weaknesses and how they gel with whoever you already have, and you're going to miss the guys you left. It's just too much that goes on. So for me, keep the pieces together. Let them gel. Let them continue to work together. They're playing at a high level right now. Let's see how far we can go.
All right, let's get one in. That's a Cleveland edition, a East Side of Cleveland edition. And if you're on the East Side, if you're in the chat, first of all, thank y'all for joining us and tuning in with us. But I want y'all to chime in on this one. Would you rather, right? You got to eat one thing for 1 week. You can only eat one establishment for 1 week. You eating Kim's, Calypso's, or Open Pit?
Oh, I'm going Kim's. Chicken tender dinner with extra sauce. Come on now. I need it. 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 Same thing every day, too. Same thing every day.
Hey,
I ain't switching up. Man,
I'm
maybe some
going.
wings sometimes, but them chicken tenders. Ooh.
I'm going Calypso's, man. Give me my steak Philly, then give me my 12 club extra
Okay.
butter, extra
Okay.
seasoning. Like it's the same thing for me, just different restaurant. Like
Oh.
what's what's crazy is like I just had some open pit for the first time in God knows how long last week, and it was phenomenal. But the one thing about open pit, bro, like for the last 15 years, man, they ain't never answered the damn phone. Like to this day, bro, they don't answer the phone. I don't know what it is about open pit. They won't answer the phone. Calypso's been open 40 years. They still ain't taking nothing but cash. And like, shout out to Kim's though. I think they got like 3 locations now, bro. Monique said she'll go to Kim's. Ray said he'd go to Calypso's. Ray said those 12 clubs in the fry. See, he know what it is, bro. That extra butter, that extra seasoning. Man, that just hit a little different. Team Jam says, good question. Joe Thomas, because he played every down and then went out with an injury while enduring so much losing. Still, he stayed loyal to the city of Cleveland. Yeah, man. Shout out to Joe. You got one more? We got time for one more. You got one more? One more, would you rather? You got one more? I got one for you. You probably don't care because you a Purple Raider. Would you rather see Ohio State win a national championship or get knocked out in the playoffs so they can fire Ryan Day and get a new head coach?
Wait, say that again?
Would you rather see Ohio State win the national championship or would you rather see them lose so Ryan Day can get fired and they go get a new head coach?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because Ryan Day needs to go.
Yes, he
That's
do.
a whole other topic, but Ryan Day needs to go. But I'm gonna go purple. I'm gonna go Purple Raiders win national championship.
Okay.
Purple Raiders win national championship. Go Mount. Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Well, look, man, we thank y'all for tuning in. Remember, man, like, subscribe, ring that bell so you can stay in another episode of the Ultimate 216 Show. Will come at you next week. Don't forget, we 13 minutes out. Fresh episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Stay right here. Ring the bell. Till next time, from me, from Cecil, be great. Spread love. Remember, being great come with a price. Spreading love is priceless. We out of here.